I know he not calling my accent fake. Hey guys, it's your girl Me-Anie, and I recently got asked by an old classmate if my accent is real. And that kind of threw me for a loop, but at the same time, I can understand. So let's get into it. I recently went to Barbados twice within the last 4 months or so, right? I speak in my accent a lot when I'm there. This mosquito in here trying to give me dengue fever. Huh? Come. Hi, sweetness. What you want? So since I've been back, I've also still been finding moments where when I post something on social media, I am speaking in my accent. Now, before we start, I'm gonna let y'all hear the audio, okay?
Hey, Darian, this is Aaron. I got a question for you. I know that you said that
Darian is my government. Y'all on social media know me as Me-Anie, but Darian is my government.
you are Bajan. However, as long as we were in school together, I never heard you speak with an accent. My question is, do you actually have one? Of course, I'm saying this in definitely in good faith and in good spirits. But once you get this message, give me a...
He basically wants to know if I really have an accent, and I can understand. I can totally understand, right? So what people don't realize as someone from another country, right? When you come to America and you hear people talking a certain way, for some people, especially when you come as a younger person, I moved to America when I was about 12 years old. So I was in the 6th grade. So as a 12-year-old coming from a Caribbean island to the US, it was very irritating every time I would speak, especially in class, answering questions or asking questions or just having simple conversations with friends at that time. It was very annoying every time I would speak. I would have to either repeat myself or they would say, how you say this in your accent? Like, want to tell me for a puppy show? Like, I am not a puppet show. I am not about to speak in my accent every time you want to hear XYZ. So it became very annoying, and I feel the switch coming on now as I'm speaking. It becomes annoying after a while when you're just trying to go about your day-to-day and you constantly have to repeat yourself. And back then, I had a temper. I had a real temper growing up, like in high school and stuff. And I think part of that had to do with my transition from Barbados to here. I was a very angry young child. I was a very angry teenager, and so on and so forth. I even got into a fight. I got into a fight in, I think it was 6th grade, where I stuffed this kid in the locker because he kept asking me questions about my damn accent. It was annoying. So saying all this to say, we code switch like the same way sometimes African Americans code switch when they're out on the block talking to their boys and stuff, and then you get into your corporate setting, you kind of code switch there. It's the same for a lot of us from the islands. For me personally, and I'll speak for myself, this is how I talk 90% of the time. And I've been doing this now for so long, sometimes I don't even realize when I switch. I don't even realize when I'm speaking in my accent and switching over. I catch it sometimes, but sometimes I don't really realize. So for me personally, I'll speak like this 95% of the time. When I switch back to my accent, I'm either pissed off, ready to, like, I'm snapping, or I am around other people from the islands. Like when I hear somebody talking and they're from another island, it kind of like switches that over for me. So for instance, when I'm going back to Barbados, as soon as I get to Miami and I'm sitting at that gate about to make my connecting flight to Barbados, my accent is on, because a lot of the people around me are going to Barbados. They're probably from Barbados too, and I can hear other people speaking in their accent and mine start to kind of switch out. So it's not that I don't have an accent, I just now have pretty much trained myself to use it at certain times. And it all came from the frustration of constantly having to either repeat myself, like, what you say, huh? Like, you didn't understand what he said just now? Huh? You don't understand nothing they say just now. I answering a question in class and you can't understand nothing they say. Or you want me? Or say how you to say I walking down the road and you asking, bitch, I walking down the road. You know, so it was so annoying back then. Oh my God, it drove me crazy. So I constantly would work on perfecting that, like that Philly slang. So it's not just me, it's like that for a lot of people from the islands and other places, but I can only speak to what I know. We'll switch off a lot. So we'll speak in whatever accent or slang is native to where we physically are, just to make it easier for other people to understand. It's not so much that we're trying to fit in, it's more so I want to be able to have a conversation with you where you understand what I'm saying and I don't constantly have to repeat myself. So that's what that is. Other people, they like, no, I'm not learning. You're going to learn to understand what I'm saying, and I'm not repeating myself, and I'm not going to learn to speak your twang or whatever. There's some people that come from Jamaica and Trinidad and stuff, and they just speak their regular dialect. They might tone it down a bit so they don't use like all of the wana afi and all of that. They'll tone it down to where it's not as strong, but that's it. We use it at certain times. It's not that it's fake. It is definitely real. Now let me cuss somebody out. You gonna hear my accent. I remember one time I was working at G&G in Philly, and my cousin did something to piss me off, and I knew. I told my friend that I was with, I was like, Simone, watch when we get in here, this gonna happen. And sure enough, it happened, and it pissed me off. When I tell you, I went off, because she worked at the job with me too. I went off on my cousin. I snapped, right? I had just got off of work, and we were just sitting back, relaxing before it was time to go, me and my friend. And she I'm not gonna say what it is because my friend I'm not gonna say exactly what it is because my friend Simone, she always jokes about this scenario and it pisses me off. So when I tell you I snapped, my accent came out, and I call her see you next Tuesday. I was like, you fucking stinking cunt. I went off, and my boss at the time, Lori, heard it, and she came back. She was like, wait, did she just say the C word? Oh, get her out of here. Because she knew once my accent started coming out and I say that word that I meant business. I went off on her ass. I started snapping. I even started I messed up the store a little bit because I knew she was closing and she was responsible for closing the front of the store and folding up them shirts. I knocked them shirts off that damn table, and my friend was like, come on, Darian, we gotta go. Let's go. Lori was like, Simone, get her out of here. I was seeing red, okay? So that's an instance where my accent came out and I just saw red. And part of it too is probably because my friend, she is Jamaican, and then my cousin also, she's, her roots are from Barbados as well. So it was like within that little group of people, we all had accents. So my accent came out. So it was extra rough that day being around people that had accents as well. And then I was pissed off. Yeah, so if you ever hear my accent come out, either I am around people from Barbados, I am in Barbados, just came back from Barbados, or I'm pissed. Okay? I know some of you guys in the comments probably are from the islands as well. Tell me, do you guys find yourself doing this also, switching from your accent when you're around people that are familiar or familiar situations, or when you get pissed off? I know I can't be the only one. Don't just blame this on me. I'm not the only one that does this. All right, so I'm glad to clear that up. Aaron, I hope that answered your question, because when I tell you this tickled me pink. I was like, I know he's not calling my accent fake. Anyway, until next time, guys, it was really good checking in with you. I wanted to come on quick and clear this up so that he know my accent isn't fake. It's the real deal, Holyfield. So until next time, guys, it is your girl, Me-Anie. You guys can follow me on Instagram. It's the same name as here, Barbadian261. So until next time, keep rising. Bye.